Hi everyone, I'm Steve Miller and I'm the lead pastor here at Village Church, and this year we would like to do something special, and that is that we're going to be introducing our various staff members to you so that you can get to know them better as well as understand their ministries a little bit more. And this morning we're going to start with Jason Sinwalsky. Jason, it's so great to have you on staff. Jason's our youth pastor, and before we jump into what you do as a youth pastor here, how about taking a moment and just sharing with everybody a little bit about your personal life, how long you've been here, and a little bit about your family so that we can get to know you better.
Sure. Well, I'm Jason Sinwalsky, and my wife Linnea and myself have been members here at Village for about 20 years now. And we have 4 kids, Clayton, Jalen, Ashlyn, and Brooklyn. The older 3 are in youth group with us. The youngest one's coming up next year. So it's a great opportunity for me to serve and to work here, but also work with my kids too. It's a lot of fun.
And before you came to Village, how long have you been here as part of our church family versus how long you've been in this role?
Sure.
And what did you do before you came here?
Sure. So I've been the youth pastor here at Village for the past 5 years. Prior to that, I worked at the school city of Hammond at Kenwood Elementary. I taught 2nd grade, 5th grade, and I was principal for the last 5 years. So it was a smooth transition for me to go from an educational setting in the school city of Hammond to working with the students here at Village.
So was that a big leap for you moving from education into the ministry like this? I was kind of similarly in the same background where I was in education and then moved into the pastorate. How's that transition worked out for you?
The transition has been really smooth. It was not much of a leap at all. Whether when I was teaching, I was working with students in front of them on a daily basis all day long. When I was principal, I did a lot of administration, working with parents and parent groups, community groups. So I've been able to combine those things into the role I'm in right now at Village as youth pastor, and I've had a lot of success with it.
Well, we're sitting right in front of your sign, the 93rd here. That's the name of your group. And so how about sharing a little bit about the group that you're leading, what the ages are, and what are some of the activities that you guys do?
Sure. So the 93rd stems from us being on 93rd Avenue here in Dyer, but also we reflect on Psalm 93. And our group, we range from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade. We meet on Wednesday nights. On a typical Wednesday night, we'll have around 75 middle school, high school students, and then also leaders. This past week, we had a big group. We ran out of space. We had to pull more chairs in. It's a good thing when that happens. And we have small groups. In addition to our main big group settings, we have small groups that break out at our grade level. And our small groups meet all over the building. We've got a group that meets in the attic. We've got a group that meets in the nursery. They're all over the place. So we're bursting at the seams, but it's a good problem to have.
Hey, especially now is a good time for us to introduce our new building program with our new youth center, and it's going to be a great addition for your ministry work. And besides the work that you do here, you lead retreats, you do some coaching. Tell us about those things.
Yes, we've got a pretty good system of events that we have worked out throughout the year. There's some variance, but typically what we'll do is we'll have a summer trip. This past summer we were in Colorado Springs with the youth group for about a week, and we brought students to the Desperation Conference at New Life Church. And then we did a lot of exploring in nature out in the Rocky Mountains. We do our fall retreat. This year we were at Life Action Camp in Buchanan, Michigan, and we do all the programming there. We do the messages, all of the events that we have planned. We call that our prayer retreat. Then in early January, we take a group of college students, former youth group students, to the Passion Conference. That's usually in Atlanta, Georgia. So we had about a dozen of us that went down this year. And then we're right in the middle of our winter extreme trips, which is happening at Camp Timberley in Wisconsin. This past weekend, we were with our middle school students. There were around 30 of us. This coming weekend, after the following, we're going to be with the high school students, and we'll have about 40 people on that trip. Those are our regular events that we do throughout the year. You mentioned coaching. We're also in the middle of our volleyball season. We have a youth group volleyball team that plays at a high school level with some other local churches. Although our team is filled halfway with 8th graders. So they're getting some good experience, building their confidence up, and we're having a lot of fun with that too.
Wow. Jason, our mission statement here at Village Church is that we're helping people find their way back to God and bringing them to maturity in Christ. How do those qualities of helping people find their way back to God and bringing them to maturity play out in the youth group?
As far as helping people find their way back to God, our students are really good about inviting friends. On any given Wednesday, we'll have a couple of new kids that show up, and they may not come back very often, but they'll make their appearances every once in a while. About a third of our students that come to youth group regularly are not from Village Church. Their families don't go here, but they found this as their home in the midweek at least. We have about anywhere from 10 to 12 high schools represented on a typical Wednesday night. So we're not drawing from one certain school. We have a lot from Hanover, we have Munster, Lake Central, Crown Point, Griffith, Ileana, homeschoolers. And then as far as bringing them to maturity in Christ, we have some high school Bible studies that meet outside of our youth group time. We have high school girls that meet on Monday nights, and we have our high school guys that are meeting before youth group on Wednesdays to do extra Bible studies because the kids want to go deeper.
Wow, that is amazing. You know, not only do we try to develop a ministry that helps people within the church to grow to maturity, but one of our values has also been to make a difference in our community as well. And I am so excited to see different ministries of Village Church impacting our local community. How does that happen within the youth group?
Well, one big way it's going to happen, and it's happened in the past, is our summer missions week.
Yeah.
So this summer, the first week of July, we're going to be spending time here at the church. The kids are going to be invited to sleep over. We'll have the boys and girls separate, of course. But every day we'll go to a different local ministry organization. And we'll just show the kids that within a half-hour drive of our church, there are service opportunities that you can go to on a regular basis. We'll give them a different taste of a different ministry each day. They'll come back here, they'll have a meal at church and have some fun at night, and then start back the next morning. So we'll do that for a whole week, get the kids involved in that. We've had groups that have gone to Intermission, which is a homeless ministry in Hammond. We've done that in the past too.
Wow.
There's so many opportunities right here in our own backyard, and I want kids to be familiar with them, but also to build a desire for them to go to these places with their families.
Well, let me ask you, in doing all of these different things that you do with the youth group, is there one story that you can share with all of us about maybe some dynamic impact that has either happened in the life of one of our kids or that our kids have had it in the lives of others that would just represent, hey, this is what God is really doing at our church, in our youth group, and in individual lives in the community?
I think the best story I can say as far as that point goes is what's happening with some of our leaders.
Wow.
We have students that come through as middle school students, high school students, and then they go off to college or they stay local and they're working, and they approach me about coming to help out.
Yeah.
So they're products of our system, they know how things work, but they also know how things could be improved. So just this past weekend at Timberley, 5 of our leaders that were there are all products of our youth group. And the speaker at the camp was talking to them and wondering how this happened, why this came about. It's because we give them opportunities to serve. And one of the comments that one of the leaders made is that he was so impacted by the leaders that he had in this youth group that he wanted to do the same for the younger kids.
Wow, that is so cool. I'm so glad that you have the opportunity to get to know Jason. Jason's been such a special part of our staff, and we appreciate you so much and the work that you do and the impact that not just you, but your entire family has here at Village. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of the other staff members with you in conversation so you can get to know them as well. And we'll be doing this every couple weeks or once a month just so that you can meet our staff members and get to know them and understand what God is doing here at Village Church. We are so blessed. God has been so good to our church family, and we see great things happening all the time, and I'm just thrilled to be able to share those with you. And so we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. I hope that you have a great weekend as you work and you serve the Lord wherever He places you. God bless you, and thanks for joining us.